Well, hello everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back and I've got an interesting video for you. Today we're going to talk about the June Overnighter 2018. Now I got to get real with you very quick. I had every intention in the world in doing my June Overnighter while I was on vacation in New Mexico, spending some time with my mom and my stepfather. Now I got to New Mexico. It was about an 8-hour drive from where I live. Got there, got up there. It was a beautiful location. It was only 27 miles from their house. So we went up there, we went to Cloudcroft, New Mexico, and then we went up, we took a turn and we went south a little bit into an area called Tiburon. It was a beautiful area. And when we got out there, you know, it had been over a year since I had seen my mom and my stepfather. So when we got out there, I started kind of getting motivated to get the camera gear out, but then my motivation died. And it died because of a decision that I made, a very smart decision, and that decision was to spend quality time with my family in lieu of spending time filming. So I made that decision. It was a great decision. Beautiful location where we were at. There was aspen trees and we heard elk bugling in the night. And there was one point where I heard some turkeys chirping. So it was fun. It was an awesome time. I had a good time being able to reset. And that's what I really needed. So if I would have been trying to film video, it would have been a bit cumbersome because I would have had to set up camera angles and it would have taken time away from my family. And since that's what I was there for, was to visit them, it was a great decision. So here I am. Let's get to the Overnighter. I am just west of Flagstaff. I'm back in Arizona. And there are extreme fire restrictions right now, so it took me a while to find a location where it was not posted where you couldn't enter. So there's not going to be any fires, unfortunately, because of the fire restrictions. I really pride myself on showing different fire making techniques in all these Overnighter videos, and this video would have been nothing different. However, like I mentioned, fire restrictions are in effect, so it kind of puts a damper on my fire making ability or demonstration in the video. So I want to talk to you briefly about the location that I chose. Okay, this is kind of a neat, kind of a unique location. If you look behind me over here, you can see that I have some very uneven footing. There's a lot of rocks and stuff like that. Now, I chose this location on purpose because I wanted to demonstrate how we can camp, whether we're on a slope or a hill, a mountain, or in this case, a lot of rocks and stuff. So normally, I would have a nice flat location where I'd set up a nice, you know, little ridge line or a ridge pole, and I'd put a tarp, maybe an A-frame over it or something like that. But I thought, let's show something different. And that's why I chose this crappy location, this uneven footing. So what my objective is to set up a ridge line right here with a tarp. Then I'm going to use a hammock. So even though the slope is kind of off, the hammock will give me the ability to make things straight. So that's what I want to show. And I love this area. This is so pretty out here. I can't wait to get started. The first thing that comes to my mind, whether I'm out here practicing survival skills or training survival skills, or if I ended up in an actual survival situation, there's 4 priorities that I always try to put in order. And those priorities are shelter, fire, water, and food. Okay, those 4 priorities are based on the survival rule of 3s. Okay, if you go 3 hours of extreme exposure, you could die. If you go 3 days without water, you could die. And the third one is if you go 3 weeks without food, you could die. Okay, so this goes back to my 4 priorities. Shelter being number 1. Shelter. Okay, now I'm not in New Mexico, obviously. I'm here in Arizona, and I'm expecting low temperatures tonight in the high 40s. So to die from extreme exposure is probably never going to happen in this condition. But because I'm out here training and I'm out here practicing, I want to always keep those priorities in order. So I'm going to pretend that there could be potential for extreme exposure to happen. So that's why shelter is going to be number 1. Now, when I talk about number 2, which is fire, and number 3, which is water, the fire is important because of the nature of keeping me warm. It's important to ward off predators. It's important to be able to purify water for hydration and ultimately to cook food. And it could also be used as a mental strength thing for you to stay strong mentally, because you're sitting there being entertained by the fire, so you're not going stir crazy. The nature of today's video, we do not need fire for a few reasons. I don't need fire to purify my water because I have a water filter. I don't need fire to cook my food because I have a little backpacking stove that I'm going to use. And I don't need fire to stay warm because I have a very nice layer of clothing that I'm going to be able to put on. I have a bedroll and plenty of cover and things like that. So we're not going to see fire in this video. Now, I like to pride myself, though, in these overnighters, the fact that each time that I come out, I like to show different skills, different methods of making fire and things like that. But again, due to the fire restrictions, unfortunately, we're not going to see that in today's video. Now I'm looking overhead and I'm seeing a lot of cloud coverage. I hope you can see this, what I'm looking at. There's a lot of cloud coverage and I'm expecting moisture. Okay, so when I come back to my survival rule of 3s, or my 4 priorities, shelter is obviously number 1. I don't want to get rained on. So I'm going to take a little time right now and I'm going to set up my shelter. Now, if you look behind me and you see this uneven territory, that's not really that big of an issue because I'm going to be setting up a hammock. Now, normally I would come out, I'd find a nice flat place, and I would be able to set out, you know, a plow point design or an A-frame or maybe a lean-to type shelter. And all those different shelters are determined by what kind of elements am I expecting? What kind of weather am I expecting? Is it very cold? Is it hot? What is it? And what kind of resources do I have? What kind of footing do I have? Do I have tent stakes? Do I have things that I can drive in the ground to put my shelter, to hold my tarp down? And for today, I don't have any of those things with me. Well, technically I do. They're in the car. But we're going to pretend that I don't. So, and again, we have this uneven territory that I've chose specifically for this video to demonstrate the unique thing of why we would be using a hammock. So I'm going to get that hammock set up here right now. Well, folks, there you have it. That's the final product. That's my shelter set up. I heard a little bit of rumbling in the background, like it might be wanting to rain, so I'm glad that I got the fly up. Now, I didn't put the fly where it covers the whole hammock, but that doesn't really bother me. For the most part, as long as I'm out of the rain, I'm good to go. If I get a little wet, that's okay, no problem. Looks like that's going to be where I'm sleeping tonight, and I'm very happy. Wow. I'm just relaxing right now. I'm really enjoying this hammock. Getting a feel of it right now. I'm trying to get this little bit of a drop cloth set behind me so I can have a little bit of a pillow. I'm just getting a test feel to see how it feels. The coverage is good. And I'm just, while I'm doing this test feel of this hammock, I thought that I would break out some bills and pay some bills. Just got back from vacation and still got to take care of these. So I'm going to get on my phone, log into my accounts, and get some bills paid. And after that, I'm just going to kind of enjoy the weather. The temperatures feel great, and again, I'm giving this thing a test run to see how it's going to feel. And I'm kind of looking above, just getting an idea of where the protection is going to be for rain. I already have my O-light set up there. I haven't turned it on yet, but it's got a really nice half-a-lumen firefly mode or moonlight mode. That's a good flashlight. That's a S1A. It runs on a AA battery, and it'll run for like 25 days on moonlight. So I'm going to pay these bills and just relax. That's what I'm out here for, is just to relax. So we'll see you in a few minutes. Well, I'm going for a little hike. Making sure of my bearings. I don't want to get lost. I know that my shelter is directly behind me, and I'm taking some visual observations, you know, some landmarks that I know, kind of making this little pattern so that when I get to my location and then I want to come back, I have these points that I can come back to and then find my way back to my shelter. Now, the reason I'm hiking around right now is because I ate before I came out here, and I have a feeling that nature might be calling here within an hour or two. So I'm out looking for toilet paper. Now, what do I want to find? I'm hoping to find some mullein, right? Mullein is a good plant. It's kind of like nature's Mucinex. It's good for bandages, and it's also good toilet paper. Now, this area, when I was driving out here earlier, I saw some, and I don't see none right now, but hopefully I'll find some. If not, I have some napkins in the car. Now, this area that I'm at, I noticed when I was driving out, there is a lot of cattle in this area. Looks like it's free range. So the cows might be eating the mullein, I'm not sure. But this is such a beautiful area, and it's so nice to be able to come out and enjoy nature like this. I'm really hoping that we can get some rain. You know, if you look over there, you know, we're definitely getting some cloud coverage. And earlier the clouds got real dark, and we did get a light sprinkle. But I'm really hoping that we get a lot more rain, because I would like to see these fire restrictions get lifted. I hate coming out and not being able to make fire. I'm a big fire guy. I love making fire. I'm very responsible when I do it, and ultimately I think that's why sometimes there are fire restrictions, because people don't take it seriously and they don't put their fires out. I don't see any mullein as of yet, but I'm just taking mental notes. It looks like some people have tagged some of these trees, like they've made some blaze marks. They put, looks like masking tape or something around them, which that's good, because that's an environmentally friendly kind of tape. So they blazed a little trail out here, and I'm paying attention to that. Those blaze marks. You know, I know that my shelter is straight back that way, and it's just nice coming out. You know, I'm in nature, and I'm looking at the ground as I'm walking, and I'm seeing a lot of volcanic kind of rock, kind of stone, and there's a lot of pumice type rock. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because, you know, just like you're looking at this piece, you see there's some divots in there. And I'm always thinking about friction fire, and that divot right there, if I take a piece of steel or even a harder rock and I bang that up, I can get a nice hole in there and use this as a bearing block for a friction fire. So I'm keeping that in mind, and I'm looking around trying to see what kind of resources there are out here, and just enjoying the fresh air, you know, and being out in nature and just kind of exploring. You know, it brings me almost back to being a child. I get to come out and look at all this beauty, look at all this moss on these rocks and stuff. So cool. Such a beautiful place out here. I'm just really loving it. The temperatures where I'm at are really nice. I think I'm around 9,000 feet of elevation. There's a little chunk here of punkwood, it looks like. Punkwood is one of my favorites. You know, it's a really good fire extender. You know, so if you got friction fire and you get a coal, you know, you get an ember, and if your ember is weak, you can put it in this stuff and it'll extend that coal, make it last a little longer. And then, you know, you put some good pieces of that in your tinder pile, you can have a lot better chance of success at making your fire. I'm also finding fatwood right here. You can see fatwood by the yellow tint in it. I don't have my knife with me at the moment, but if I scratch that a little bit, you could probably see some of the yellow coming out. And then the true test is smelling it. Yeah, I can smell it. Smell that. Yeah, that's good fatwood right there. Fatwood is really good as a fire extender. So not a coal extender, but it's got a lot of oils and stuff in it that make your fire last longer while you're getting more smalls on it. And I'm looking at some scat right now. So this stuff definitely looks like coyote scat or something, and it's got a lot of hair in it and little bones, and it's kind of interesting. It makes you wonder what that animal was eating. Obviously something with hair, so it probably ate a chipmunk or something. And I'm just looking at the territory out here, and it's beautiful. This is what life's about. It's just getting out and enjoying life and enjoying nature and spending quality time with your family. And these outings are like for me personally, you know, they're like a reset button. So if I have any stress or anything going on in my life, they're definitely like a reset for me. Here's another blaze on this tree here. So the last one was right off in this direction. So it's pretty cool. Pretty easy to find the location where I'm camped. Also, there's a little road off here in the distance that can serve as a handrail, which will take me right back to my vehicle or my camp. So it's kind of like if I was to walk over to that and then hang a right, it'll take me right back to my shelter. So I'm keeping that in my mind as well as I'm stumbling along out here, as I'm looking around. And I'm also looking for wild edibles, plants, medicinals, things like that on this little recon. Anything that I can see, any animal activity. I'm always thinking about that kind of stuff, because this is kind of like, you know, I don't just come out to enjoy being out. I come out almost in an effort for some survival training. And I see something worth noting. This looks like it could be kind of cool. Off here in the distance, I see what looks like a chair, right? So they cut this tree down. Looks like that could be a toilet. Look at that. It's like nature's toilet. Right there's the back of it. You just sit your fanny right there. Perfect height. and do your business. Look at that. The only thing I need now is mullein leaves, because look at that hole. I mean, it's in the right spot. Oh, the funny things that come to mind when you're out in the woods and you're looking around. So now I just got to find them mullein leaves. Hope you guys are enjoying the video. I'm having a blast. This is just so fun to come out and explore. Now here's a good resource. Right here, this pine sap. And you notice that it's got the consistency of honey almost. So this is really good stuff if you have a cut or some kind of wound and you need to bandage that wound and you're out in the woods and you don't have a good means of bandage. So if you have a cut, you just take some of this pine pitch and put it on that cut, and it has natural anesthetic qualities to it, and it's very good for a wild medicinal right there. And then if you don't want to get like all that sticky stuff on your clothes, then you can take, if you can find some sawdust that you might generate by cutting some wood or something, you can put sawdust on it or dirt on top of it, or maybe a mullein leaf or something like that. And that's a really good survival first aid bandage, if you will, if you're out like this. Something to not forget. And it has to be the soft sap that's like honey. If you get that hard stuff, it's too crystallized and it's not going to work unless you melt it down. He saw me. Big old bull there. Look at that guy. He's checking me out. I don't know if he's nice or mean. Hey, bull. Hello. What you doing? Hey, bull. Hey, dude. What you doing? Hey, bull. Look at him. Big old bull. Kind of crazy, right? Kind of cool. When I was a kid, I worked a strip and shoot, and so that was a place where they would do these rope-ins. They would take these young steers and we'd put these fake horns on them, and we called them muleys. And the strip and shoot was the job that I worked, and that was the job where when they would rope the calves or the steers, to get the rope off of the back feet, they would bring them in the strip and shoot, or to get the rope off the horns, and that was my job, was to take the rope off of these steers. So I've spent a lot of time around, you know, cows and bulls and stuff like that. Been to a lot of rodeos. Been a lot of places and seen a lot of things in my life. Take a look at this area. This is kind of cool. Just a bundle of rocks. That bull, oh, where did he go? Barely see him through the trees there. I don't know if you can see him down there. He's shaking his head. He was calling. There he goes. He was calling for his buddies a minute ago. But I'm just walking around and I thought this area looked kind of neat. Kind of an interesting place out here. I just really enjoy coming out here and seeing this place. This looks, you know, there's a lot of shade right here right now, so I'm thinking I'm gonna take me a break and maybe sit on that rock right there and just chill out and relax for a little bit. You know, when you come out like this, it seems like time just drags on. Like you get if you don't have some kind of activity that you're doing, time just drags. I've got my shelter set up. I've got the mullein leaves. Now I'm just relaxing. Life is good. It's a lot of fun. Well, looks like the sun is over there, but over here got some dark clouds, and I'm getting a very light sprinkle right now, so there's a little bit of light weather rolling in. And yeah, I'm feeling tiny raindrops. Nothing crazy yet, but looks like it's coming. See what happens. Almost forced into my shelter. Got a light little drizzle here a second ago. Nothing crazy. It was enough that I had to get under this tarp though. And then just recently I got a little bit of wind, and now I'm just relaxing. And off in the background over this direction, I've been hearing some thunder. But since I turned the camera on, I'm not hearing it now. Isn't that funny how that works? The camera sometimes, there he goes. Hopefully you guys heard that. The clouds are doing things, so there's a storm moving in. So my shelter feels great. I'm ready. I had a great day today. I had all the intentions in the world in making some green chili potato soup today, but unfortunately I came here and got a little rained out there for a little bit, so I got in this under the tarp here, got in the hammock, and I fell asleep. Woke up and realized that it had rained quite a bit while I was sleeping. I was completely dry. The bug net worked great. I got up, went and charged my cell phone. It was dead. Not dead, but it was low. So I charged my cell phone, went for another walk, and played with some flashlights and read a Blue Press magazine, you know, the reloading magazine, the catalog rather. And so now I'm laying in my hammock. I got all my flashlights and everything ready, and I'm faced with kind of a difficult task right now, and that is to take my shoes off and figure out how I'm going to get in this bedroll. It's funny when that is the most significant task that you're looking at ahead of you. I'm looking at the bug net right now, and there's some bugs crawling around and stuff. The bug net is working very good. I was looking at it earlier as I'm talking to you, and there's a lot of little moths and stuff flying around, and they're not getting in here. There's flies, and I'm well protected. In fact, there's one right there. I don't know if you can see it, but they're staying out. These bugs are staying out. The bug net's working good. The hammock is so comfortable. I had an amazing day today. This is truly what life's about. It's about getting out, having fun, you know, and getting out in nature where you can breathe clearly, and you got fresh air, and you got the sounds of nature that you can hear, and it's just so fulfilling to be out like this. I wish Miss Bella could have came. I'm really missing her. I'm missing my kid. I'm missing her daughter. And it's just, not my kid's daughter, Bella's daughter, okay? Just let me make a little clarification there. I'm not a grandpa yet. But it's just, you know, coming out in nature is just really, it's something that I really enjoy. This is like a therapy for me. I've said this many times. If a person has some struggle in their life, or if you're dealing with depression or anything that's getting you down, or, you know, just life in general, or maybe the work, maybe your workload at work is overwhelming you, or whatever the case might be. Maybe somebody's sick in your family, or whatever it is. Getting out in nature always helps. You know, and I'm not saying that I'm a person that has problems or anything like that. I got a normal life just like everybody else. I got good times, bad times, and coming out in nature is always like a reset button for me. It brings me back down, it settles me, and there's no place I'd rather be than out in nature. So I'm going to go ahead and get my shoes off, get in this hammock, call it a night, and you know, like I said earlier, the soup, I was going to make potato and green chili soup, but that didn't happen. But that's okay. I'm not even hungry anyway. That was just something that I was going to do. You know, that's the beauty of the whole thing. So we'll see you guys in the morning. I hope you sleep well, and God bless. We'll see you in the morning. Quick update. I am in my bedroll. Kicked off my shoes, kicked off my socks, and I'm pleasantly happy right now because it wasn't as hard getting in the bedroll as I thought it would be. Thought it was going to be a much more of a task, but it was actually pretty simple. So I'm in my bedroll, and above me I have this little O-light. This is the model S1A Baton. This is a good flashlight, AA. But I have a 14500 battery in it, and I've been using it for kind of an overhead light. And my battery died, so I gotta change out my my battery in this thing. Apparently it's an old battery. This, and no joke folks, this battery has been in this flashlight over a month and a half, and I've been using it like every day, so it finally died. It ain't even dead all the way. Look at that, it's still on moonlight. But when I kick it up a notch, yeah, it's dead. When I try to kick it up a notch, it just dies. So I'm gonna change battery out. Not that I need to. I got plenty of light. Look at that. Ooh, that is bright. 3200 lumens. That's crazy. And I have O-light through night. You name it. That's one of the cool things about being a flashlight reviewer. You get some cool lights to use. And I'm gonna go take me a little drink of water. It's important to stay hydrated when you're out like this. Bad part is you got to get up in the morning and pee. But anyway, we'll see you guys in the morning. I love y'all. Later. Good morning, everybody. Wow. I slept great last night. In the middle of the night, I got a little bit of rain, and I'm looking at my hammock here, and I don't see any water or anything, so I stayed dry. It got chilly last night, but I wouldn't say it was cold. I was comfortable. I felt amazing last night. Slept like a baby. I have no idea what time it is right now. I'm guessing probably 7, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning. Temperatures are awesome. The cloud coverage looks like it lifted for the most part. Looks like, you know, the rain is probably done. So my order of business today is to get up, break camp, and head home. This has been a fun trip. It sure feels good getting out like this and being able to relax and listen to the sounds during the night. I think I heard some elk activity last night, or of course it might have been the cows, but I heard something making some noise. Oh, I'm just so happy. Life is good. There's no place I'd rather be than out in an area like this. The only thing missing is Miss Bella and the kids. I wish they were here. So yeah, I'm gonna get up and start breaking camp. I'm not even hungry. I was originally kind of thinking about maybe doing that soup or maybe doing some rice or something like that, but I'm not even hungry. I feel great. Good morning. Well, folks, I want to say thank you for joining me today on this June overnighter. I hope you had as much fun as I did. This was a great trip. Please feel free to leave your comments down below, like this video, share this video, and as always, if you like the type of content that you see on my channel, please don't hesitate hitting that subscribe button and hitting that notification bell. I'd love to have you. And until next time, again, thank you for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, and we'll see you next month in July for the overnighter. We're going to be probably dealing with some kayaks, maybe a boat. There's going to be water, possibly some fishing. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.